Are you still treating AI like a polite little chatbot waiting for your instructions? Because if you are, you're already obsolete. The era of treating artificial intelligence like a fancy autocomplete is officially over. In this explainer, we're tearing down the illusion of the chatbot and diving straight into the dawn of the Agentic Era.
Think about it. While you were busy copying and pasting text, tweaking prompts, and waiting for replies, Google quietly assassinated the biggest open-source AI project on the planet. And they didn't do it by accident. They wiped the board clean to clear the runway for a massive, autonomous digital agent that absolutely never sleeps.
We are staring at a massive divide right now. The old reality was you sitting at a keyboard, typing commands into a chat box, and hoping for a decent response. But the new reality? It's all about delegating complex, multi-step workflows to an autonomous worker, literally handing off the job. If you're still doing the heavy lifting yourself, you are falling way behind.
To really understand how we got here, we have to look at the sudden, brutal death of OpenClaw. Late in 2025, a developer named Peter Steinberger launched a project that just exploded in popularity. It was local, it was secure, and most importantly, it was user-owned. But overnight, thousands of users were permanently banned. It was the necessary collateral damage for the revolution Google was quietly planning.
It all came down to what experts call the trusted environment fallacy. See, OpenClaw was built for secure local networks, but human nature completely took over. People didn't want a local tool. They wanted their agent running 24/7, spinning up instances on wild public servers. That exposed some massive vulnerabilities, and frankly, it handed Google the absolute perfect excuse to step in, shut the whole thing down, and launch their own lockdown corporate alternative.
Enter Remy. The name actually comes from the Latin word remigus, which means oarsman, and that is exactly the point. This isn't a chatbot you have a conversation with. Remy is an autonomous assistant designed to row for you. This completely rewires our digital expectations. We are shifting away from conversation and moving directly into pure execution.
Let me show you what true delegation actually looks like. Take this leaked apartment hunting workflow. You don't sit there and ask Remy for a list of Zillow links. You just tell it, you're moving. That's it. It opens a hidden browser using Project Mariner. It automatically adjusts filters based on your budget and your daily commute. It actively talks to agents and books property tours that actually fit your calendar. And then, it just sends you a clean, bulleted summary while you sleep. That is what delegation means.
But here is the million-dollar question. How does it do all of that without hallucinating and completely ruining your life? The secret is something called the knowledge catalog. Standard AI guesses based on statistical patterns. But Remy? Remy executes against verified organizational truth. It maps the actual, hard relationships across your Google Docs, your emails, BigQuery, and Spanner. It delivers deterministic precision across your entire data estate.
Now, to run a 24/7 agent for billions of people without literally melting the world's servers, Google DeepMind had to invent something new. They created the Mixture of Recursions, or MOR architecture. Instead of wasting massive compute power on easy, simple words, a tiny, learned router decides exactly how deep a token needs to go. Hard, complex reasoning gets more compute. Simple words exit fast. Memory access drops by up to 50%. That is the magic that makes a relentless, unsleeping agent economically viable.
But the software is honestly only half the story here. Enter Aluminium OS. This is a total paradigm shift for how we use computers. It's an intelligent system fusing Android and ChromeOS into one. AI is no longer just an application you click open. It is the primary operating environment.
Which means the cheap, budget-friendly Chromebook era is officially dead. We are now looking at the Google Book ecosystem. Acer, Asus, Dell, and HP are rolling out highly premium hardware to support this. You'll even notice the signature lid glow bar, a physical visual cue letting you know your agent is currently thinking. Inside these machines are massive neural processing units dedicated entirely to local AI processing.
And this completely changes how you physically interact with your machine. Take the Magic Pointer. It's an AI-powered cursor that instantly surfaces contextual actions based purely on what you hover over. Point at a date, and it offers to schedule a meeting. Point at two different images, it asks if you want to combine them. Intelligence isn't an add-on anymore. It's the core spec of the hardware.
Of course, Google isn't operating in a vacuum here. The ruthless benchmark wars are escalating fast, and OpenAI and Google are trading some really heavy blows. If you look at overall scores, GPT 5.4 just barely edges out Gemini 3.1 Pro. But look a little closer.
In real-world software engineering tasks, Gemini takes a massive, undeniable lead. And in pure web browsing tasks, DeepThink wins the crown. What these numbers really show is a massive strategic divergence between two tech giants. OpenAI has built GPT 5.4 as a reasoning-first operating system, specifically designed for deep, complex desktop automation. Google, on the other hand, built Gemini 3.1 Pro as a natively multimodal platform. It is explicitly designed for real-world web delegation and broad, everyday integration.
Then Google just drops a staggering number on the table. 2 million. That is the token context window of Gemini DeepThink. Think about that for a second. 2 million tokens means it can hold entire libraries of source code, hundreds of legal contracts, and decades of medical histories in its memory, all at the exact same time. It cements Google as the ultimate wildcard for massive document reasoning.
But capability is only one battlefield. Google has unleashed its ultimate strategic weapon to win this war, absolutely slashing prices to drive universal adoption. Gemini 3.1 Pro is exactly half the input cost of GPT 5.4. And Flashlight, it is practically free at just 10 cents per million tokens. They are pricing this tech to ensure every single app on your phone is running their AI.
And they are bringing that immense power directly to your pocket, shrinking these models down to run locally on hardware like the new Pixel 10. You've got options now. Gemini Nano 4, fast, literally doubles output speed for quick, verbose mobile tasks. Need something deeper? Switch to Gemini Nano 4 Full. It's slower, sure, but hyper-accurate for complex logic. That means zero latency execution, right in the palm of your hand.
Now, I know exactly what you're thinking. Handing the keys to an autonomous digital worker sounds absolutely terrifying. But Google has implemented some incredibly strict agentic guardrails to keep things from going off the rails. They deployed a user alignment critic to independently veto rogue actions. They use agent origin sets to strictly restrict data access. They have real-time defenses against prompt injections. And most importantly, there is mandatory human oversight for highly sensitive actions like payments. Your agent cannot accidentally wire away your life savings without you explicitly pressing approve. Still, we have to acknowledge the dark side of this incredible productivity revolution. We are moving from a world where we actually owned our tools to a world where we are just leasing our agency from a handful of trillion-dollar companies. It is the quiet, invisible death of digital sovereignty. OpenClaw was messy, sure, but you owned it. Remy is highly polished, it's brilliant, but Google owns it.
Which brings us to the ultimate question we all have to answer. The Agentic Era isn't just coming anymore, it is here. The hundreds of hours you will save are completely undeniable. But are you truly ready to lease your digital agency? Are the hours you get back really worth the ultimate control you are surrendering? Think deeply about that. I'll catch you in the next explainer.